Ladies and gentlemen, this one is a doozy. We have a ton to go over today and it will get a little bit confusing, so please bear with me. We're going to be breaking down some further information we have about the Toyotaro panel that may shine some light on more things, but also leaves things a little bit more confusing. We're going to be talking about the new Marvel game that probably puts Fighters 2 out of everybody's dreamlands. Probably not getting Fighters 2 anytime soon. And then we're also going to be breaking down the latest characters revealed for Dragon Ball GEKISHIN SQUADRA. First, in case you're not aware, I encourage you to check out my previous video where I broke down the information about the panel that Toyotaro will be attending with Torishima, where they'll be talking about Toyotaro's new original manga project. However, we do have further information coming from another person who is a native French speaker. I'll just go ahead and read off what they said. They said, actually, this has been extremely taken out of context and mistranslated. French speaker here. Bilingual French is my second language. The wording is really confusing, probably to get more eyes on the event, because it does not actually say that Toyotaro is working on a new project. What he actually said could refer both to his work on the DBS manga or a future work, and it actually seems like he could have been role-playing as a new mangaka. It's actually really confusing if you don't understand French, so I understand why people are mistaking what he said. So he didn't really provide an exact quote from what the actual words are, but he went ahead and provided it to DBS Hype on Twitter. I'm just going to go ahead and read what he sent DBS Hype. He said, the thing that's being reported currently is based off this sentence, and then it's just some French mumbo jumbo, which is translated to, Toyotaro will come to talk about his new creative challenge. This only means that he's working. No indication on what he's working on. There is nothing about a new manga. So that is very interesting information, and it definitely does paint the previous video where I covered everything with a little bit of a different brush. What this basically means is that his new creative challenge, like the quote was originally saying, like the person who was translating it said, it could mean Dragon Ball Super, it could mean an original manga project that is unrelated to Dragon Ball Super. Again, I'm not a native French speaker, so I cannot speak for what the actual quote is. I'm just going off the word of other French speakers. And then this is where things get even more confusing. We have Von DBZ, who also speaks French. He says it's not a mistranslation. The one dude went and saw the guest page and didn't check the event/conference page, which is linked in the replies and in my original post like 5 times. It clearly states what it clearly states. So this is very interesting that they're saying this. So basically both things are true. What this other person, 1DAP-Pad1, is saying is true, and then what Von DBZ is saying is true. But 1DAP is basically correcting what Von DBZ is saying, but what Von DBZ is saying is not the quote that 1DAP is reading. Basically, both things are true. 1DAP seen something that said Toyotaro is facing a new creative challenge and he'll be talking about it. And then Von DBZ is saying that there is a new original manga project. Now, what all this means could be very confusing. If you want further information about it, you can go ahead and check out my previous video where I basically broke it down and tried to make it as simple as I could. But the basic rundown of it is that now that Toriyama has passed, the future of Dragon Ball Super is up in the air, and now people aren't really sure what Toyotaro is working on. People don't know if this original manga project is Dragon Ball Super or a Toyotaro original. However, with this quote, and with the idea that French is complicated and it could mean multiple things to get more eyes on the event, I'm more convinced than ever that this is probably for Dragon Ball Super. Maybe Torishima is there as the original editor of Dragon Ball with Toriyama to discuss it with Toyotaro and basically toss ideas back and forth, things like that. So everybody, don't give up hope just yet. The future is bright. We just have to hang in there. Alright, next up, this next section is going to be fairly short. Dragon Ball FighterZ, in case you guys weren't aware, was a video game created by Arc System Works. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm pretty sure everybody who's watching this has to be aware of it, at least on some level. The developers made it a really unique game with beautiful animations, very true to the Dragon Ball universe, and it was also a tag team fighter. And it was also, of course, Arc System Works working with a big other company to make a massive video game. It looks like they're doing that again, but it's not with Fighters 2. And many people, including some big YouTubers, are basically taking this as confirmation that Fighters 2 is not happening anytime soon. Because now we have Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. It's a 4v4 fighting game, and it will be coming next year. And of course, being by the same creators as Dragon Ball FighterZ, it looks phenomenal. All I gotta say is that they are absolutely cooking with this video game. I'm excited for it, but I definitely do understand the frustrations that Dragon Ball fans have, myself included. I think a Fighters 2 could be great, but when you think about it, they really have all the content they could have in Fighters 2, unless they added more tertiary characters and maybe some more OG Dragon Ball characters, which I would appreciate. However, it does seem like that dream has basically dead and gone. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls is basically their next big tag team fighting game, and I'm kind of here for it. I'll be checking it out for sure. But for you Dragon Ball fans, does not look like we're going to be getting Dragon Ball FighterZ 2 anytime soon. Alright, and with all that said, let's get into the new GEKISHIN SQUADRA characters. We have a few new characters revealed. Let's just go ahead and start off with Deborah.
Witness the power of the Demon King. You're mine. Be gone! Don't think you can escape from me! I'll send you all to hell! Now you realize the difference in our power.
Yes, Deborah, I do realize the difference in our power. I am so glad they're putting this on console, by the way. It just makes all the sense in the world. They're going to have the largest player pool, I believe, of any Dragon Ball game. Anyway, Deborah is a damage character. Concept, of course, is stay close to your enemies with this hero, apply petrification to gain an additional firepower, fill up the petrification gauge, and then unleash devastating damage. Have I mentioned before that I love how every character in this game is designed so differently? Demon's Domain is his passive. Fill the petrification gauge of enemy heroes with a certain proximity. When their petrification gauge is full, you can use a rush attack to petrify them, stopping their movement and increasing your damage against them. So Deborah is, of course, built around his spit attack, which makes sense. I mean, every character in this game basically has their own quirk. They have their own gimmick, which, of course, I believe is expected from a League of Legends video game. So I think it's really cool that Deborah is obviously what you would expect. Skill 1, Doom's Ray, blow up target enemy. If this attack hits an enemy hero, it fills their petrification gauge. The lower their petrification gauge is, the more petrification will be applied. Also generates an aftershock ahead of you. Activates quicker if used after vanishing step. So as you can see, there it is. You're just going to go ahead and blow it up. And yeah, simple enough. Skill 2, Darkness Spear. Throw out spears. Apply no vanishing step to the enemy heroes they hit. Gain movement speed up when approaching an enemy hero hit by this spear. Oh, I love that. Of course, he, just randomly spawns spears in the anime. So, Evil Flame. Spit flames. Apply movement speed down to enemies hit. Enemy heroes hit will also be afflicted with burning, and their petrification gauge will be filled. Can move and adjust aim while using this skill. So, of course, as you can see, he really he revolves around filling up the petrification gauge. That's going to be your main thing. Unleash a powerful energy blast attack. Fills the petrification gauge of enemy heroes on hit. Yep, as you would expect. So, that was Deborah. Pretty fun character. Nice gameplay gimmick, but I'm not sure if I will be using him. But, again, I mean, it's Deborah. I'm glad he's in the game, don't get me wrong, but it's a cool gimmick. I'm just not sure if it's for me. Alright, next up, we have Super Saiyan 2 CAULIFLA. Let's just go ahead and take a look.
If you're itching for a fight, that's fine by me. My time to shine. I've got you pegged. Hell yeah! Take that! Come on, shape up! Out of my sight! Don't worry, I'll protect you! Let's finish it! Crush Cannon! Did you see that? That's my power!
Okay, so CAULIFLA is a tank. She looks absolutely gorgeous. Her animations are stunning. I've never been a big CAULIFLA fan, but when they get her right, she looks amazing. Very simple design, of course, as all Dragon Ball characters have. So she's a tank. The concept is any and all opponents can bring it on, provoke enemies to protect your allies, and boost your own damage. So she's a bit of a more traditional tank. Baby's gimmicks are a little bit confusing for him being a tank, but her Caulifla's, her whole kit, I guess you could say, is basically like what you would expect from a tank. So you provoke enemies and they deal less damage to you. So that makes sense. Again, she's super traditional. Attack with a triple roundhouse kick applies provoked to enemies you hit. And then, of course, provoked enemies deal less damage with their passive. If the attack hits at close range, the duration of provoked will be extended. Can move and change aim direction while using this skill. Blaze Dive, her second skill, Fire and Explosive Energy Blast, performs a follow-up attack to enemy heroes hit. Provoked enemy heroes will take additional damage. Again, very traditional, basically what you would expect from a tank. Release a field of energy around you, blocks enemy energy attacks and prevents them from approaching. Applies movement speed up to self after activation. And then her super attack is Crush Cannon. Release a large amount of energy, applying provoked to any enemy it hits. Can move and change direction while using this skill. Then, of course, being Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, she can transform at level 7. And it raises the damage reduction of her passive Bring It On. So, I was a little bit scared of Baby as a tank from the last breakdown. Caulifla seems super traditional, super easy to pick up and master, so I'm assuming this is going to be your go-to for maybe newer players that maybe don't have a good handle on how these types of games are played, and you want to try out tank. Go ahead and try out Caulifla. Okay, and last one revealed so far as of recording is Full Power BOJACK. Let's just go ahead and take a look.
Ah, a nice little spot. From now on, it belongs to me!
Too bad!
I look forward to killing you all personally! Try dodging this! You're finished! Nothing will survive! No matter how advanced you are, you'll never match up to us.
Okay, so first impressions, just based off the little gameplay showcase before we get into the moveset, I really like how they involved the entire crew, whose names are easy to forget. Right off the top of my head, I know Zangia from the games, and Kogu, because his name is very similar to Goku for some reason. I kind of don't remember these two. Obviously, BOJACK is a damage. His concept is a hero specializing in group tactics who dominates the battlefield with AoE energy attacks and explosives. They have a really cool attack that I love that we'll get to in a second. So his passive is Galactic Assassin. If a rush attack is used against an enemy hero damaged by your skills, your subordinates will perform a follow-up attack. And it looks like, I don't know if there's like a specific rotation the subordinates are on, because there's, I think the little one is named Bujin, right? And then Zangia, they all seem to have like different attacks, but who knows like how much damage they do. I don't know if they're like different damage for each one that randomly spawns or what. Skill 1 Galactic Buster, fire 2 energy blasts that explode on impact. Again, it basically is what it is. Skill 2 Cosmic Bloom, scatter energy blasts. They will explode when hit by an enemy attack or by an energy attack, from an enemy or ally hero, or after a set amount of time passes. Can move and change direction while using this skill. So I like this attack, of course. Definitely brings me back to Goku and his Super Saiyan God attack, which is iconic. So, I mean, again, a lot of these damage heroes, their attacks are basically, it is what it is. I mean, as you can see. Skill 3, Psycho Thread. And I love this one. Call upon your subordinates and send out threads of energy. Applies movement speed down and damages enemies within the AoE. Subordinates will retreat if damaged, but their number will increase according to the level of the skill. And after dealing continuous damage, additional explosions will occur based on the number of subordinates remaining. So, that's a mouthful. All I know is it's straight from the movie. And I love that. Because I don't know if you guys are aware, but the BoJack Unbound movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. BoJack himself isn't a very compelling villain, but I mean, that movie's just iconic to me, so it's cool to see that move represented. So, Giga Grand Smasher is his super attack. Call upon your subordinates to fire 5 energy blasts. After a set amount of time, the energy blasts will converge at the center. And that's it. And he transforms, of course. Follow-up attacks from subordinates during Galactic Assassin will deal enhanced damage. So, yeah, if you transform, then the follow-up attacks from Bujin and Zangia, Kogu, and the other guy whose name I forgot, they'll do, more damage, which, of course, is obviously what you would expect from a transformation character. Anyways, guys, that will be it for this video. I wanted to go ahead and break down some new news, as well as make kind of a slight correction to the previous video. I don't know if you would call it a slight correction. It's just more context for what we may see. So hopefully I provided enough follow-up information that you guys have a better idea of what's going on. And as far as the GEKISHIN SQUADRA coverage goes, the test period will begin this Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, I'm not necessarily going to stream the game on my channel because I don't really do gameplay videos on my channel or anything like that. But I will be covering the game, rest assured. I'll be covering how the test goes, if it's successful, things like that, and any new reveals. Keep in mind that this is basically the last night I'll be covering the new character reveals, because they'll maybe reveal 1 or 2 more characters the night before the test goes up. And I think covering that like right the day of the test probably isn't the wisest idea. So that will be it for this one. And I mean, it's close. GEKISHIN SQUADRA's test period is almost here, so let's get hype. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and please subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all things Dragon Ball news and commentary. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace off.